Hey brother, yeah brother, hey brother, hey brother, hey brother, hey Shiba brother.
GM, welcome back to the channel. In this video, which I'm entitling Hopium, we're going to go through the Hopium case here, as Bitcoin is really on the precipice of actually breaking below the range lows, but nonetheless it is at the Pico range lows, so of course there is some Hopium here, and we're going to go through those cases today just to try and improve some morale. But also, if you are an investor, aka a bag holder, and your intentions were to bag hold this thing until we reach the kind of froth euphoria stages of the market, maybe you don't want to actually be selling during these times when people are getting scared. So it's always good to have the Hopium case on the horizon, because as we've seen, things can go up a lot and down a lot in a very quick manner. So try and stay positive. Let's jump into this one though, starting with the fear and greed index. We are now getting a full reset in terms of sentiment in the market. So fear 44 read. Last week on the lows we had a 30 read. I think this will actually update tonight and it'll be lower than 44 if I were to guess. So generally you want to see a resetting of sentiment as people get washed out of the markets. Bitcoin here not looking great, 57.9, the kind of bottom of the range, the actual full bottom here is here, so around 56.9, that kind of region. We wicked into this previously back in May, so that is the kind of area you really want to see holds. Currently at 57.9, you've got around $1,000 of wiggle room to the downside here, but it is looking like it's, pushing down quite quickly here. So Bitcoin not looking great, but again, hasn't fully broken the lows as of yet, but momentum is with the bears. Next up, we have Ethereum here, also obviously follows suit with Bitcoin, as do most of the cryptos. They move in correlation, but the Hopium, as you can see, this is the circled area where the ETH ETF was given a green light and we teleported up. So elevator up, staircase down pattern, but we're coming back into the same zone from where we received that information. So we're like $70 away from that point. If you just think about that logically, it would make sense that would be a strong bounce region, and we have the actual ETF potentially going live either next week or the following week commencing the 15th of July. So you're getting a big discount going into that event, and you would expect over the course of time, Ethereum's going to grow in value with ETF demand. Interest rate cuts. So this is the CME watch tool currently saying that there won't be a cut in July, only a 8.8% chance of a cut in July, but September now pretty much forecasting that they will have to cut in September. So easing of monetary conditions likely is good for risk assets more broadly, hence your Bitcoins and your cryptos, etc. So that is on the horizon. Will we get a shock in July? Doubtful, but you never know. So we'll see what happens. But typically, yeah, it looks like this has been pretty spot on for most of the time. People kind of have it telegraphed to them what's going to occur. So it looks like September rate cut. So that is around 2.5 months from here. Then we have this. So Pentoshi's actually bought, well, he's made a stab at things today. So bought some Bitcoin near the 200-day moving average at 58.6. His first Bitcoin buys in some time. Now, interestingly enough, he's put in, just as a DCA in, $3.6 million, which is never good to obviously compare your account size versus other people who have been doing this a lot more efficiently and for longer than yourselves. But interesting to see someone with a lot of capital has started to deploy at that trend line 200-day moving average. He does go on in this post though that he expects potentially the worst case scenario is this gray box come and gets filled. So that's between 47 to 51.5k in that region. So even from where we are right now, that's like 10 to 15% down move on Bitcoin, which obviously would look pretty bad on the chart. But if we can get at least a bit of a foothold, if that does occur down there, I guess the downside risk for alts is probably somewhere in the region of like 20, 30, 40% from here, even though they have been smashed to bits. Again, it's the old mantra of things can go up more than you expect and also down more than you can expect. But nonetheless, one of the better traders in the market just coming in and saying, look, I'm buying here. Not confident in saying that this is bottom. We could go to the gray box, but having sold earlier in the year. He's seeing that these are some decent discounts on the table right now. He's been very patient, and now he's started to bid yet again. Game theory wise, so this is one of the staffers at Trump's admin. Highly interesting read here, says Nate Garachi. Trump admin potentially pursuing Bitcoin as a strategic reserve assets. Simple game theory dictates adoption by one nation necessitates other nations to consider the same, whether friend or foe. So within this, there's a quote where he says, as a global decentralized commodity money with sound properties, Bitcoin will undoubtedly play a growing role in geopolitics and international trades. There's every reason to believe that the Bitcoin network layer will expand further to include nation states. And their staff member, surname Thorne, states, as with any scarce commodity, be it oil, gold, or rare earth minerals, countries often engage in fierce competition with each other to secure the lion's share of said resources. Hence, there's a potential play for BTC with a Trump election. So interesting stuff. Another bit of alpha from Pentoshi here. He says, look, I think the market's actually in a better spot than when I first posted this thread below, which I'll show you in just a sec, where there was actually around $250 million of emissions each day from altcoins. He was saying the total market cap was looking a little bit toppy in this region, and basically things were in a position where there weren't enough stablecoin inflows to really match the additional supply coming on the market. And we've seen a lot of high FDV tokens really sink down considerably. He says, what's the market told us though? So looking forward here, Sol is currently where it's at. I think base has a shot, but this is a discussion for the future. Time hasn't come as of yet. So makes a lot of sense with what we're seeing. Solana is the home of where people are going to trade. Every time there's a rotation out of Solana, it comes back to Solana each and every time. So I think having bags which are based on Sol are probably the most comfiest, and having Sol as a core position would make some sense. And he says Bitcoin is the hottest ETF ever, so we'll go to unimaginable heights in the future, but longer term time horizon required for that. So just pretty much showing you markets in a better condition in terms of laddering in bids at this point rather than March time. Obviously makes quite a lot of sense, and that's a bit of hindsight trading, but Solana, Bitcoin, you can see where the money's flowing more broadly. Now, Alo posted this one. It's pretty funny. Peter Schiff coming out to dunk is often a good time to be bidding, because he says if you bought Bitcoin every time you saw a euphoric Schiff bear post, you'd outperform 99% of traders and investors. Bitcoin's at critical support. If it doesn't hold here, look out below, a long way down. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg, sir. Then a quick look at these charts that Grant posted. Bitcoin on the 1 week, 1 day, 4 hour, and 15 minutes, i.e. coming into serious levels where, you know, bounce or die kind of category. So wick below's acceptable, but we don't want to see closures much below where we are right now, to be honest with you. Hopefully going to get closure above 59s today. Happy July 4th, everyone. Now, Hustlin _ on Twitter, who has been trading some serious size as per screenshots I've seen. He's saying, look at this, study the Bitcoin correlation to the S&P and NASDAQ. And he's saying, look, this is a 30-day rolling correlation to the equities, and we're at extreme negative levels, which resulted in a strong catch-up move shortly after in the majority of previous cases. So that chart, if you can't read it for yourself, just showing we're at the extremity of a move. Stocks, unbelievably, have just been up only, and Bitcoin obviously pushing well towards the bottom of the range. So is there a reversion and a catch up to that correlation coming soon? That is the suggestion here from Hus. Cevo chiming in this morning. I refuse to change my bias and turn bearish after the move has happened. It's always in hindsight quite easy, but my targets are much higher. Most alts got slaughtered. There's literally no reason to be bearish here. In case you didn't know, corrections happen in uptrends and there's nothing we can do about it. Stop listening to the doom callers who always have seemingly coins to sell. So he's saying bottom potentially in. And if you actually look at some of the alts versus BTC, like Bitcoin's pretty much back towards its April low here. It's like 1.5% away. ETH versus its low from that same period is like 10% away. So the alts seemingly have already been battered. and maybe they haven't got as far to fall as Bitcoin, but of course you can get cascades of liquidations if we do really break down badly. So do be aware of that, but we'll see what happens. Blockware Intelligence posted this. This is the longest miner capitulation since the summer of 2022. Essentially, miner capitulation due to the fact their revenues have gone down with the halving. They have to turn off and often have to sell their coins to either remain in business or just sell up shop, sell everything they got, all their inventories, and leave the market. So this is a cleansing that occurs post-halving. And they say once this sell pressure is relieved, it should be up only for some hopium. Also seeing some of the bags get listed on decent exchanges, such as Mokia with KuCoin. If we just look at one of the stronger alts, which is Mog, to be honest with you. Off the highs, obviously down, good percentage, but still comfortably looking like it's in a strong bullish trend overall. So we'll leave things there. Hope you enjoyed this one, a bit of hopium for you. Obviously consider, are you an investor or a trader? And then plan out your moves. If you didn't plan on selling and you don't want to sell, and you may regret it, you can always just log off and come back when things get a bit better. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.